The number one mistake that beginner traders make when they enter the stock or crypto markets is that they overcomplicate their education process and they overcomplicate their charts. When you go on TikTok, when you go on YouTube and you see all of these trading gurus giving us their advice, you could see that their charts are just filled with different indicators, different methods, different charts. It's just too much to handle, especially as a beginner trader. And frankly, most of the indicators that they're using, like Bollinger Bands, like RSI, like buy and sell signals, like Fibonacci, they don't have any actual evidence of working. And the most likely scenario is they don't actually make money using them. But they end up confusing you. They end up making you use all of these indicators that usually are all conflicting, and it just makes everything so much more difficult. I don't use RSI. I don't use MACD. I don't use Fibonacci. I don't use Bollinger Bands. I don't use any of these fancy indicators that most of the trading community uses. I keep my trading as simple as possible, and that's by recommendation to you. If you're a beginner, or even if you're an intermediate or expert trader who's not really finding the success that you want, it's probably because you're overcomplicating your trading. Trading is simple, but it's not easy. So you shouldn't overcomplicate your charts and overcomplicate your decision making. You should focus on one key factor, and that is price action. So what is price action in the first place? Price action is ultimately reading the relationship between supply and demand, the sellers versus the buyers. If we could understand what the buyers and sellers have done in the past and what the buyers and sellers are doing right now, we can determine what the buyers and sellers might do in the future, and that is the whole basis of price action. We have to determine the relationship between the buyers and the sellers, and once we do that, we can place trades betting on either the buyers showing up or betting that the sellers are showing up. So how do I read price action? And I only look at a few different tools when I'm reading price action. The first and the most basic one is candlesticks. And what candlesticks do for me is that they show me the opening price of a particular time frame, the closing price of a particular time frame, and the highs and lows of that time frame as well. What that does for me is it paints me a picture, a graphic representation of what's going on between the buyers and the sellers. And you have to learn how to read candlesticks, and you also have to learn the sequences and patterns that candlesticks form in order to actually begin entering into trades and being able to accurately place entries and stop losses. The next tool that I use are moving averages. So I use the 20-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. And what a moving average does is it shows you the average price of a particular range of time, let's say 20 days, and it shows you what the average price was during that time frame. So for example, the 20-day simple moving average shows you what the average price of the last 20 days were, and it's represented in a line. The 200-day moving average shows you what the average price was in the last 200 days, and that's represented on a line. And without using these simple moving averages, I would not be able to trade and make money on a consistent basis, especially the 20-day moving average. That is the absolute most powerful tool that you can use in your trading, and it's also the simplest. It's not RSI, it's not MACD, it's a simple line that shows you the price or the average price in the last 20 days. If you want to learn how to actually use the 20-day moving average, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to be posting a video showing you exactly how I use it on a day-to-day basis. It is by far the most important tool that I use, and without it, I wouldn't be able to make money on a consistent basis. And the funny thing is, it's really simple to use. I don't want to say it's easy because you have to learn how to use it in different circumstances. However, it's not some crazy tool that's going to tell you, oh, price is going to go up here, price is going to go down here. If it closes on this RSI, it's going to go up. Like, it's none of that. It's not confusing. It is simple, but it's not easy. And in order to make it easy, you have to actually have experience with it and understand how to use it in the different circumstances that I'm going to describe in my future video. The next moving average is the 200-day moving average. That is a long-term moving average that I use, and it is mainly used for support and resistance. I'm also going to make a video on how to use that as well. The last tool that I use is volume. And volume shows you liquidity and how many shares are being bought and sold at a particular time. A lot of people overrate volume and they kind of base their entries and exits off of volume. But frankly, volume is only useful in a few circumstances. It's useful in determining how liquid a stock is, it's useful for reversals, and it's also useful for bases and base breakouts. Besides that, I wouldn't put much more emphasis in volume, and I'm also going to be creating a class on how to use volume in the future. So the main point of this video is to tell you guys to simplify your trading. Stop using all those fancy indicators. Stop using all those fancy charts and all the fancy bars. Stick to the basics. Stick with simple tools that will help you understand how to read price action. Because if you could read price action, you're golden. That's all you need to know. Once you combine reading price action with experience, with the correct psychological makeup that could give you the potential of becoming a professional trader, then you're set. If you got your psychology right, if you got your basics and your fundamentals of reading price action right, and you have the experience, that is the magical formula to becoming a professional trader. So simplify your charts, keep it simple. And if you want to know how I use the 20-day moving average, the 200, the candlesticks, and volume, make sure you subscribe and you check out those videos that I'm going to be posting, because you need to understand how to use the 20-day moving average and the 200 and volume, because they are way too powerful to not be using, but they're also simple. I keep it simple. I keep everything I do simple. Things that are oftentimes the simplest are also the most brilliant. So simplify your trading, and I can promise you're going to see a lot better results. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.